There's a line to a quarry at the end of Thomas's branch. It goes for some distance along the road. Thomas was always very careful to whistle here in case anyone was coming. Early one morning, a large policeman was sitting close to the line. Thomas liked policemen. He had been a great friend of the officer who had just retired. Beep, beep, he whistled. Good morning. Thomas expected that the new officer would be friendly too, but he was sorry to see that he didn't look friendly at all. He was red in the face and very cross. Disgraceful, he spluttered. I didn't sleep a wink last night. It was so quiet, and now engines come whistling suddenly behind me. I'm sorry, sir, said Thomas. I only said good morning. The policeman pointed to Thomas. Where's your cowcatcher? He asked. But I don't catch cows, sir. Don't be funny, snapped the policeman. He looked at Thomas's wheels. No side plates either. And he wrote in his notebook. Engines going on public roads must have their wheels covered and a cowcatcher in front to protect people and animals from being dragged under the wheels if they stray onto the line. You haven't, so you are dangerous. Rubbish, said Thomas's driver. We've been along here hundreds of times and never had an accident. That makes it worse, the policeman answered. He wrote regular lawbreaker in his book. Thomas puffed sadly away.
The fitters, his driver, and firemen all helped with Thomas's snowplow. We'll have to try that again, laughed his driver. Big, horrid, awkward thing, Thomas grumbled. He was much happier when he arrived at Callan Station and saw his special. It was a beautiful Christmas tree. The tree will have lights and stand in the middle of the village, said Edward. Make sure you get it to Toby safely. I will, said Thomas. Thomas arrived at Maithwaite, and Toby was very happy to see him. The villagers will be delighted with this tree, Toby said. I'm glad you have your snowplow. I can't clear the snowdrifts by myself.
It was a cold, wet winter's day. Duck was at Knapford Station when James arrived. Of all the jobs he is given, James likes pulling coaches best of all.
It's a shame you've been stuck with a goods train, Duck, but I suppose somebody has to pull cars.
Oh, I thought you sometimes pulled cars too.
That may be, but splendid-looking engines, such as myself, should always pull passengers. After all, the passengers prefer it.
But things don't always turn out the way James would like them to.
Oh, who can appreciate my bright red paintwork in this weather?
One day, James had to wait at the station till Edward and his train came in. This made him cross. Late again! Edward laughed and James fumed away. After James had finished his work, he went back to the yard and puffed onto the turntable. He was still feeling very bad-tempered. "Edward is impossible," he grumbled to the others. "He clanks about like a lot of old iron, and he is so slow, he makes us wait." Thomas and Percy were indignant. "Old iron? Slow? Why, Edward could beat you in a race any day." "Really," said James, "I should like to see him do it." Trevor the traction engine enjoyed living in the vicarage orchard. Edward came to see him every day, but sometimes Trevor didn't have enough work to do. "I do like to keep busy all the time," he sighed one day, "and I do like company, especially children's company." "Cheer up," smiled Edward. "Sir Topham Hatt has work for you at his new harbor. I'm to take you to meet Thomas today." "Oh," exclaimed Trevor happily, "a harbor, the seaside, children, that will be lovely." Thomas the tank engine wouldn't stop being a nuisance. Night after night, he kept the other engines awake. "I'm tired of pushing coaches. I want to see the world." The other engines didn't take much notice, for Thomas was a little engine with a long tongue. But one night, Edward came to the shed. He was a kind little engine and felt sorry for Thomas. "I've got some freight cars to take home tomorrow. If you take them instead of me, I'll push coaches in the yard." "Thank you," said Thomas. "That will be nice." Next morning, Edward and Thomas asked their drivers, and when they said yes, Thomas ran off happily to find freight cars. Now, the freight cars are silly and noisy. They talk a lot and don't attend to what they are doing. And I'm sorry to say they play tricks on an engine who is not used to them. Edward knew all about the freight cars. He warned Thomas to be careful, but Thomas was too excited to listen. The shunter fastened the coupling, and when the signal dropped, Thomas was ready. The conductor blew his whistle. "Beep, beep," answered Thomas, and started off. But the freight cars weren't ready. "Oh, oh," they screamed. "Wait, Thomas, wait!" But Thomas wouldn't wait. Come on," he puffed. "All right, don't fuss! All right, don't fuss!" grumbled the cars.
Toby the tram engine has cow catchers and side plates. They help to prevent animals from getting hurt if they should stray onto the line. Daisy thought Toby's fenders were silly. "You're afraid of getting hurt yourself," she flounced. "I'm not," huffed Toby. "Yes, you are. I don't have stupid cow catchers, but I'm not frightened. I'd just toot and they'd all go away." "But they don't," said Toby. "They would with me. Animals always run if you toot and look them in the eye." "Even bulls?" "Even bulls," said Daisy. Daisy had never met a bull, but she purred away quite unconcerned. She tooted at a farm crossing, and a horse and cart halted while she went by. She said, "It's easy. I just toot, and they all stand aside. Poor little Toby. I'm sorry he's frightened." At the next station, a policeman was waiting. "There's a bull on the line," he warned. "Please persuade it to return to the farmer." Daisy was excited. Now, she thought, I'll show Toby how to manage bulls.